Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big honor for all of us today. Raghu Rai sir நம்ம கூட இருக்கிறாரு. I don't think மதுரையோட சார் வரும்னு யாரும் எதிர்பார்த்துருக்க மாட்டோம். A very special thanks to Amar, Ramesh and Harsh for taking all the effort to bring Raghu Rai sir with us. Just a small introduction about Mr. Raghu Rai. I'm sure most of you already know him very well, but I would still want to introduce him. Mr. Raghu Rai is one of India's most celebrated photographers, renowned for his exceptional contribution to photojournalism and documentary photography. Born in 1942, he began his career in 1965 and soon became a protege of the legendary Henry Cartier-Bresson, who nominated him to Magnum Photos in 1977. Over the decades, Raghu Rai has captured the soul of India through his evocative and deeply insightful images, covering themes ranging from politics and spirituality to culture and everyday life. His work has been widely exhibited and published in prestigious platforms like Time, the New York Times, and the Guardian. Mr. Raghu Rai is also known for his stunning photography books on topics such as Taj Mahal, Varanasi, and Mother Teresa, just to add a few out of his name. With numerous awards to his name, including the Padma Shri, he remains a towering figure in the world of photography, inspiring generations to tell stories through the lens. Let us all together welcome Mr. Raghu Rai to Madurai. I request Mr. Raj, local photographer, to just honor him with a honor.
You can come right in the middle. Thank you.
It's a book?
That you've done?
No. It's borrowed from someone. It's the natural temple and something about it. Natural.
Can you imagine? I was going to tell him that I like to get a book on Meenakshi temple.
Yesterday night dream I had that you book.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Amar Ramesh is no stranger to any of us. I think எல்லாரும் photography இருப்போம். ஏதாவது ஒரு specific line of photography இருப்போம். He is so open about photography. I have a little bit of interest and a small background in photography. So, as a wedding photographer, he's slowly moving into documentary photography. He's done a very beautiful book called Mugappu. We have it here in JC, the corridors. He's documented the entire Chettinad Mugappu, the old houses there. Also, புது மண்டபம் நம்ம ஊர்ல நம்ம புது மண்டபத்தை ஒரு நியூ லைட்ல he's brought in. So I think it's a big honor for us to have Amar Ramesh here with us as well.
Thank you, Rishwant. And so, sir, a little bit in Tamil and then I'll start in English. So first வந்து மதுரைக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப தேங்க் பண்ணோம். நான் எப்போ மதுரை வந்தாலும் வந்து there is always a warm welcome and Arsh, Rishwant, everybody, Sanjay, Vasan, நிறைய பேர் they make sure I am like really taken care of and the warmth வந்து in the city கொடுத்துட்டே இருக்கு and also that is what is bringing me again and again. So thank you, Madurai. So before I can start, I have to tell a very small story. So when I think of Raghu Rai sir, I can only think of my cabin. Or 15 years back, I was sitting in this cabin reading about photography blogs, reading about photographers, and every day I would see his pictures, think to myself, oh, one day I want to go back to India and shoot pictures. His pictures was constantly an inspiration for people who are sitting there in US or UK or any Western countries, look at India in the raw form. And get excited about India. So I was one of them who was sitting there and getting excited about India every now and then. And then cut through that to year, 15 years later, I'm sitting in front of him and going to interview him. It's an amazing honor for me. So, sir, thank you so much for, first of all, for making time and sitting here. And you would have heard this many times in your life, but you've been an inspiration to many people like me, and you've sowed lots of seeds all over the world, and those seeds are sprouting and fruiting and doing some amazing things. So thank you so much for that. I'm ever grateful for that. Directly, like getting into the topic, I wanted to ask you, what is one profound lesson that you have that this life has given to you, sir? What is that one profound lesson that the photography career has given to you that you want to share with people?
Namaskaram. And thank you for saying such nice things. It's always good to hear nice things. Like the only lesson I have learned is to connect with the life and nature wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I believe that nature, the divine, you can call him by any names, the divine, Ram, Allah, Guru Nanak, Buddha, they are the names of divinity. And shall I tell you something? All these saintly people came with divine energy and they helped millions of people who came in touch with them. They've come and they've gone. Nobody's coming back. Not even Christ, not even Allah. In their name, we sit and pray, hoping that, hey, they will take care. I promise you, nobody's going to take care. And in any case, we all know God helps those who help themselves. So if you learn to wake up, to work hard, to do different things, then the divine power shall help you. Not all these big names of gods. If they were gods, they wouldn't have died. After all, there has to be difference between us and them. So if they were gods, they wouldn't have died. They were like us, but they were pure souls, super energy, connected with the divine. Now you see, this aspect of divinity is available to everybody. And divinity is not Hindu, not Muslim, not Sikh, not Isai. It's endless energy of magical powers available to anybody. Even if you cry in the name of Allah or Christ or Mahadev or anybody else, they are not going to be coming back. They are not touched about it because they're not there anymore. But that divine energy defines something else. Listen, as such, when we are young, we love a girl and we think about her, we dream about her. She comes in your dreams or he comes in your dreams. It doesn't mean. So even your God will come in your dream sometimes, but it doesn't mean that he's going to make a difference. Look at Sabrimala, walking bare feet for days together and walking back. We have in the north Kavadiyas, they go to Himalayas for days together barefoot, and they come back barefoot for days together, and they live anywhere and everywhere, troubling themselves, their physical self, thinking when they come back, the divine will take care. No man, no God, no goddess is coming to take care of you. You have to realize that we as human beings, we have our own inner power that can connect you with divinity then you can name it whatever you like. Because divinity means being committed to anybody and everybody with goodness, with responsibility. And when you are responsible, when you're connected, when you care for others, especially in our culture, blessings. Blessings are very precious. So when you are being blessed, the divine is coming closer to you. Also, I mean, if there is any doubt, please question me.
Through your pictures, we realize that you are a gifted one, and you are connected to the divine.
No, wait a minute. Nobody is gifted one. Please remember, people think geniuses are born. No. The person, the individual man or woman who gets committed to something and dedicate their lives to it, the genius begins to land in you. I haven't met a mother who produces genius. So gifted, this is because young photographers must know that nobody is gifted. You have to make yourself available, dedicate yourself, and wait for the gifts of the nature.
Through your work, we can understand that you're almost like a tool of divinity. So divine is using you as a tool and showing us this all amazing images, sir. And also going around with you for like last 2 days, there is some like there is a touch of spirituality there, right, in your work. So obviously, when you started, you were a young boy, and you would have, been naughty and playful and all that. And then, at what time or what moment or what incident in your life that you touched upon this idea? Okay, I'm connecting to a divine power.
Uh-huh. Very difficult to understand that bit when you're young. You see, I started taking pictures just by the way. I never thought of becoming a photographer. So the first time I picked up a camera and I took some pictures, I went with a photographer friend who was very keen, passionate photographer, 10 years older to me. And I was watching him taking pictures in the villages. And I used to wonder. And my elder brother, Esport, who's done great work on India, I used to watch them that they are mad people, so committed to photography, taking good pictures all the time. By chance, I asked my brother to give me a camera. I'll go with this friend. And I was watching him, and once in a while, clicking a picture. Now, the difference is when you want to become somebody, then there is effort involved. And then you try. But I didn't want to become a photographer. So, whatever first film I took, I just took it with a feeling, with an instinct that I saw something interesting. And I said, that looks good to me. I took it. So, my first pictures, my brother sent it to the Times newspaper in London. They published big picture with my name on it. And when the newspaper came, my brother, his friends, they said, big deal. What a big deal. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. I said, really? How do I care? Because I had no such plans. So when everybody said big deal, and I had done engineering, I had worked with the government for a year, and I didn't want to go on with the engineering. So I said, everybody's saying a big deal, so I'll take some more pictures. And when I started shooting from morning till evening regularly, film cameras, load one film, walk around in the streets the whole day, 36 exposures, enough for me for the day. And walk around searching and looking and trying to take good pictures. And I'll come back. There'll be interesting pictures, but there won't be good pictures. Then again, in another trip, I came back with a picture of traffic in Old Delhi. My brother saw it. He says, wonderful. You know, this is how, when some of my pictures, my brother said, were wonderful, then the important thing, questioning yourself and your work and your journey. Why? This one is wonderful. And when I'm working the whole day as a photographer to become a good photographer, and I'm not getting very wonderful pictures, and sometimes I get it. So that's where I said, maybe when I'm working with a conscious mind and trying to take good pictures is one thing. But when I take a picture with the feeling, with the touch of, it's a good picture. Comes from that kind of space, divinity. You know, in daily life, anywhere in nature, you're traveling and sometimes you see something and you say, like that. That is divinity. That is instinct. We'll call it instinctive feeling. Divinity is a bit too higher a plane. So that feeling that you're traveling and you see something and you say, hey man, that's beautiful. Come and gone. Nobody can control it. Nobody can define it. See, your instinct. Don't become a man of your mind and ideas and imagination. You know, your mind and your imagination is how much? 6 inches of space. In this 6 inches of, or 7 or whatever space, how much can you do when the world is so big? Nature is ever changing, life is ever changing, and you are not connecting with that. And you are trying to be imaginative. I want to do something different. Nothing happens. You become a patient of your thinking. बीमार हो गए सोचते सोचते. So then I realized that when I am easy and free and get a feeling, I get a good picture. So I tried to develop that aspect more clearly.
So imagine somebody who's sitting in the audience and who is just few years into photography or is into photography as a career, who has to make a living out of it, who has to work really hard, make some money to put food on the plate. For them, all this divinity, like you said, it's a little higher level, right? For youngsters, for the next generation, what do you think is one thing that they should work on to touch this space of divinity? To touch this
Yes,
space of
I'll give you the simple answer to it. You know, this is the computer God has installed in each one of us. And this computer is the biggest computer in the world. We don't use even 1/100th of the capacity and the possibility this computer has. Mind's computer. So we think, we plan, we want. Thinking, planning, wanting is not creativity. So one thing, simple thing, do not take all those good pictures which are stored here in your computer, which you've seen before. Now, what happens, this computer is full of sights, sounds, ideas, images, music, discussion, philosophy. And this is the heavyweight champion who's controlling you, who's telling you what is a good picture, from where. It's like a computer who's stored so much and who can tell you what is a good picture. AI, maybe it could tell you something quite different. Now things are changing so much. But the computer here controls human being, human mind controls human being while doing anything and everything. And that order from your computer, from your mind, is full of mediocrity. Because what you've already stored here has been done by somebody else, isn't it? And that's why it's there. So do not take all those good pictures which you've seen before. And when you say no to that and begin to explore and look for new things, then nature will give you new ideas, new feeling. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. But I want to go one level deeper in that. I go to a place, let's say I go to Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple today, right? I have seen lots of pictures of the temple. I have seen lots of pictures done by so many people, and it's all stored in the mind, right? I am there, and for me, standing there with all the crowd and everything in that situation or any situation first gets overwhelming, right? How do you say, like, I should not get into the same pictures that I in the mind? Like, what is that one level down deeper process that you would suggest people to do to come out of that?
You see, this computer, when we take 200 pictures on a camera, we go download it and clean the card to reshoot it. But this computer, you cannot delete. You can only load more stuff on top of that. देखिए, do you play Holi here? Colors?
Only colors, a little bit, sir, not so much.
But anyway, in the north, people play Holi. Somebody's carrying red colors, somebody carrying bright green, somebody's carrying yellow, somebody's carrying pink. Now, if somebody puts a bright yellow color on your face, oh, you are shining up in bright yellow color. Another one comes, puts red color on that. It might become orange or deep orange. Somebody comes and puts green color on it. It starts becoming brown. Somebody comes and puts yellow color, blue color. It becomes muddy. So by the end of the day, if you look at your face, you don't have any colors except brown, dull, muddy colors, because when they merge together, they become muddy and colorless. As they say, garbage in, garbage out. So when you let your mind get colored with all kinds of ideas, photographs, energies, and things, it's garbage, full of garbage, your mind. No matter what you can think and talk about it. When you talk about some idea, you filter out some of the information, you focus on that, you say, this is what it is. The problem that you can't delete this garbage, creativity, comes only when you are disconnected with your mind and your spirits are alive and you are being instinctive. Everything else is second-hand information. You might like it, that it looks as good as Bresson's picture or Amar's picture or anybody's picture, but it's somebody else's attempt. And you are a second-hand citizen in the world of photography. Each one of us, our upbringing is different. We feel differently, slightly, and that slight difference creates space for other energies to come in. So when your instinct comes alive, instinct touches your heart, not your mind. It comes straight here. So the ability, the next point, is to connect your eyes not to your mind, but to your heart. Your heart is the purest guy in you. अब जब something touches you, say, "Arey wah, what a feeling!" Aha. And then simultaneously, you don't have time to say aha, aha, and finger has to click together.
So when I hear all this, I feel you're the perfect definition for that aham brahmasmi, right? Like I'm the creator. And sir, I've been spending the last 2 days with you, and I still like you've been shooting for hours and hours together yesterday and today.
But how does my shawl look?
Great, sir.
Okay.
It fits your hat. You have already accomplished so many things. You're like world famous. Your pictures are popular and everything. And at 82, what is that thing that still drives you? Still wakes you up in the morning and makes you go shoot in streets and randomly walk around for hours together. What is that? Like, what is the secret? Like, see, I'm asking this because many times many people here are wedding photographers, right? And
You see, even in wedding photographers, you want to set up things. And I don't know here, but in the north, weddings happen at night, artificial lights. And these days, there is a fashion using block lenses. Absolutely rubbish. Because block lenses, each lens takes certain defined space. And in somebody else's family, in somebody else's affair of marriage and emotions, you can't go up front 4 feet, 5 feet away from them and just get the right kind of people and emotion at the right time. Because the other day, my daughter's engagement, two photographers came who were trained from our Center for Photography, carrying block lenses, and what they sent was so loose, so soulless, because they go on. This is the disease digital technology has 128 GB, go mad, clicking one after another rubbish. I tell you, when I said first, when I was taking pictures, 36, a film of 36, each exposure mattered. Leave me alone. The guys who were using those plate films, one plate at a time, man. And that plate has to be utilized so meaningfully. And if you've gone to do portraits of big guys, how many plates and how many times can you tell a prince or a maharaja or somebody big guy to wait, let me load another one, let me load another one? They'll say he's an efficient guy. But in their mind and spirit, they had to discipline themselves so much that that just one photograph, one plate had to be perfect. From that Then there were 12 frames in a film. Then we had the liberty of having 36 frames in a film, and now endless. So block lenses are useless absolutely, because you cannot choose your space right there and then.
So, what would you suggest, sir, for people?
Zoom lenses. You see, the day zoom lenses came into being, I never went back to using block lenses. Even if I have several block lenses, I rarely use them. Never. Because with two lenses in my hand, 24-70, 28 300, 24 200, these two lenses, I can shoot the whole world. And wherever I stand, my frame will be full, energized, and meaningful.
So, going back to the question, sir, what is that? What is that thing that is pushing you every day in the morning, like
Yes.
waking you up in the morning? What is that?
Yeah,
That obsession.
not pushing me, calling me. And who wants to be pushed around, in the year? Now I have come to a new city and it tickles me. It, energizes me. Oh boy, I don't know what I'm going to get to see. I don't know what I am going to get to see tomorrow in the streets, leave alone the temples. For me, God does not exist in temples. And if they don't let me take a camera inside the Garbhagriha, the sanctorium, where the deity is sitting, if they don't let me take my camera, I don't go in, because the God does not exist for me. My God exists in the eyes of the people I photograph. They are my God. And now, coming back to his question, life is ever changing, it doesn't stop. Nature is ever changing and challenging. Life is ever changing and challenging. New alignments, new expressions, new relationships. I'm an explorer. So I want to experience every gambit, every meaning, every energy, everything that life can offer me in different ways. I have been to Meenakshi temple maybe 50 years ago when nobody stopped. We just walked in. I've been to Tirupati. Nobody asked us. There was a tribal wedding going on inside the temple. I photographed them also. I did everything. I did a book on Tirupati. Today, every temple is controlled by the religious organizations or by the government, and they do rubbish. Sorry to say this. They could organize your going in and sitting and meditating. Actually, now we are so overpopulated that every temple, every place is. Look at the Christians. Look at the Muslims. Look at the Sikhs. They can go and sit inside their mosque, inside their church, and meditate. Only bloody Hindus cannot do this.
So we were talking about life is beautiful. It has lots of gamut of it has gamut of things that pushes you and that calls you and makes you want to go shoot, sir. Um, so with all this, what do you define? What is your definition of success?
I told you during the day also, I worked for Magnum Photos for the last 40 years. I'm part of the Magnum Photos. At that time, Magnum had world's top photographers, the best in the world. Now, of course, new trend and new young guys, following the latest trendy photography, which is totally against the concept of what Magnum stood for. And I never see Magnum has annual meeting in June for 1 week. I think in 40 years I have gone there for 5 times or 6 times because I am not here to compete with any one of them. But I am an explorer because I love life, I love nature, and I've been doing it. So in 2019, the Academy of Fine Arts Paris, where invention of camera was done, and that Academy of Fine Arts has been giving award to for literature, for music, and for arts. And they did not include photography in their awards. They give like something like 120,000 euros every 2 years, one writer, one painter, and one musician. So in 2019, they included photography. And me, who never goes to anywhere and never connects with anybody, but I do connect with magic of life and nature, I was the first one as a photographer to get that award first time. And I told them, I said, I don't come to Paris or New York or London to meet up other photographers, but I have been a very committed explorer, searching and exploring. And sometimes when I look at my work, I say, wow, I have done it. And then also the second thought will be sitting, looking at your own picture, saying, wow, you must be shooting in the dark. It could be bad. So I said, when I had to speak after the honor, I said, now that you've honored me, you've given me the highest honor, I feel I have been a truthful explorer. And that's what creativity is all about. Creativity, new work. You see, you must know, each one of you, it is possible for any one of you to do so. It's not, but the difference is, if I have connected with my instinct and the divine, so I can also tell you something else, that nature, when I make myself available, nature begins to perform for me. And I wonder, wow, अरे ये कैसे हुआ? Because I'm part of the whole nature. And then it performs for me. Not that I am the chosen one, I am the important, because I make myself available mentally, physically, and spiritually. It doesn't cost anything, but it needs all of you all the time. That's all. So anybody who gets into that commitment will find it. It's that simple, seriously.
Thank you, sir. One last question before I end and open up for the question from audience. So you have been shooting almost for 60 years now, and you would have seen so many trends coming into photography and going. How do you see photography industry has evolved, and where is it going? What do you
Well,
think about
the present trend is very tricky. You see, photography started 160, 70 years ago. And early years, in early 90s, most photographers were following a painting style of portraiture, painting style of garden and architecture, everything. And the cameras, as I said, big plate cameras, very heavy. even if you had to do a portrait, so you had to make the person sit and tell him to hold your breath because the exposure is going to be more than 1 second. But then the backdrop they set up was copy of the painting painters would do. Then came square size 12 frame cameras where you could take at a fraction of a second. So photography's evolution started, capturing right moment, movements, and expressions. Then comes 35 millimeter photography, and photography acquired its own status and value. What is that value? If a painter has painted Meenakshi temple 300 years ago, and he's a good painter, you look at the painting and you say, wow, very good painting. But if you photographed Meenakshi temple 150 years ago inside the temple, and you see everything going on inside and the energy and the atmosphere, you look at it and you say, oh my God, this is the way it used to be. Even my photographs I have taken 50 years ago, you won't recognize. This is the visual history of a place, of a country, of a temple, of a culture that we have to do. The visual history. A writer can write and exaggerate with his imagination. History is written and being rewritten by these people. But visual history cannot be rewritten. This is a very precious purpose of photography, which cannot be replaced by painting, by writing.
So, how do you feel about where photography is headed towards?
No, just now. Sorry, coming back to that point. You see, to literally make yourself available mentally, physically, and spiritually is a very wholesome, penetrating experience. You literally go into human situations and you almost learn to meditate in those moving experiences and then grab something so unique. Very difficult. So, to sit and meditate and capture something unique in fast food generation, you grab a sandwich, you grab a coffee, you drink it, you go to your work. Cooking, a good cook will bring the right kind of herbs, right kind of vegetables or chicken or meat and cook it systematically. Who's got the time in fast food generation? Everything is available. And that trend also anti-creativity. You know, there was, a few years ago, there was a song called Kolavari D. It started from the South. It became very popular all over. Why? It was anti-poetry, it was anti all that orchestra, but it had its almost a instinctive rhythm to it, and it became popular. But you cannot make more songs like this. So that trend of anti-poetry, anti-Jam Jamila orchestra worked very well. Now, similarly, in photography, they say, अरे साला कौन meditate करेगा, कौन ढूंढेगा, सब कुछ तो मेरे पास है, कंप्यूटर के पास will give you so much ज्ञान. So you have this idea, you go and take that picture. If it's not happening, you ask people to come and say, please, I'll take the picture. So everybody is in a hurry, quick gratification, and you go to Instagram, you have 500, you have 5,000, you have 5 lakh followers, and you go home and tell your mom, I have got so much rubbish following me. I don't care. My My children, they put my work on Instagram. I never see what's happening because we become consumers and we become victims of this society. And that's why the society thinks, yeah, same mediocre guys doing the same work. You don't stand as, man, I have to do something very special. The day you choose to do that, it will begin to happen because you don't have courage. Because also our education is to level up everybody, mediocres. Who teaches you about who you are, why you come, and where you got to go? Nobody tells you. And religious people, they tell you their own bullshit about the Lord, which nobody can follow and understand. You come back, you come home, and you wonder what you've been told. But when you connect and perceive and receive, you come home after day's meal, when you put your head on the bed, you feel, ah. And then you close your eyes, you go to sleep. Wow, blissful. Costs you nothing, but costs you whole of you. But whole of you is otherwise good for nothing, isn't it?
Awesome, sir. For shortage of time, we'll open up for questions
Yeah.
from audience.
Hello, sir. This is Raghu. First of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of the people here. Thanks for visiting early. Thank you all for getting in here. Sir, you're one of the reasons, you're the main reason why you took a camera in my hand. And I have three questions. I'd like to ask one. You mentioned that you're an explorer and you've been exploring for the past 60 years. So, these many years, you have shot countless pictures of common individuals and the streets of this Indian subcontinent. How does it feel when you finish shooting one particular city or a region that you have never been to?
Yeah, I walk in like somebody who's come into this world for the first time. This world of Madurai is a world for me by itself. And I don't make value judgment what is good, what is dirty, what is not so clean. Whatever is there, and wherever it has that human energy and content of its kind, not the kind I want. I'm nobody. So I receive and capture what is happening there and then, which has human experience of any kind that connects me to the people here and now, right now. And the immediacy of it is right now. I'm experiencing and capturing simultaneously.
Good evening, sir. It's a quick question for you. They generally say a picture speaks 1,000 words, and for someone like you, I think a picture should be speaking more words. Is there any particular photograph or picture which when you saw maybe any time in your life which maybe moved you to tears or something? Any particular photograph which really spoke something to you which would not have happened for any other normal human being? Any particular special picture?
You see, first of all, I don't believe in cliches. The cliche is that a picture speaks 1,000 words. Wow. Some people say, photographers, I write with the light. Wow. 1,000 words can be a lot of noise. What about silence? The best artwork, the best music is when you listen to Subhalakshmi ji when she is in meditative mood, blissful. You close your eyes and she gives you silence. And you say, wow. Otherwise, dhoom dhadaka, all the beats, all the jazz, and the music makes so much noise. So the best of the artwork or a movie is after seeing the movie, there is no question. and there is no irritation, and there's silence. I tell you a small story about Buddha. When he got enlightenment, so he started traveling from one place to another villages. So he was to go and speak in a small village. And those days, there were no cars, no planes. So he got delayed by 3, 4 hours. So when he reached that chopal where hundreds of people were sitting, and there was a little higher platform under a tree where he had to sit. So what people do when they are waiting, they begin to talk to each other. Yap, 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 yap. Everybody's talking, everybody's discussing something. So it becomes a noise. Like the palace we went, from outside, I heard such noise. I said, I don't know what's going on. So all those people who were sitting and waiting for Buddha, they were talking among themselves because he hadn't arrived. So finally, when he comes, and there are no mics and there are no lights, so he comes and sits on the stage. Somebody presents him a flower. He sits with the flower, and then the people begin to notice he's come. So they become silent. Then the other people begin to know, oh, he's here, silence. More people noticing silence. So the silence begins to travel, okay? And it becomes quiet and silent, and nobody's speaking. And he's watching with a loving smile. Everybody is watching and sitting with the flower in his hand. And it went on for quite some time. And they still waited, and they still waited, and he didn't speak a word. And then finally, after half an hour or so, he got up, he put the flower there and did this and went away, because the purpose was to restore silence. That's all.
Hi, sir. Good evening. First time I'm from the city. The first time I got to see your works was at the India Fair Parallel, the curation by Rubina at the cave in the
You saw that show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the show.
Hmm.
And it was such stuff studying, and I was your fan the very day, and you all kept talking about you. Of course, I was introduced to you very late. I'm not a photographer, just an art enthusiast, let's say this. But later, when I also got to see your book, there's just a few things that, again, starkly surprised me. One was the first few pages wherein I got to see you photographing film leaders and power. And these are contextual situations such as Madam Indira Gandhi during an emergency, having discussions with congressmen. These were during funerals of great leaders of the country. These were during processions and stately meetings and everything from Mother Teresa to Dalai Lama. Now, as a photographer, also as a common person, I was also amused by the fact of how you were led amidst such strong power leaders, because now in the current day situation, I hardly see anybody being able to capture portraiture the way you did back in the days, and the sort of shots you've taken. Also in situations such as an emergency or a funeral. Is this the power of a photographer, or is this the privilege of being Raghu Rai?
No. Well, now I can say sometimes I feel I get a lot of privileges because people are familiar with my name. But back then, Indira Gandhi was the strongest prime minister. And we were 20, 30 of us sitting and taking pictures. Those leaders were different than these guys. And if we published a picture very meaningful, the next day, daily newspaper means every day. You get to see something different happening in the country, leaders coming and going. So they get to see and they know who's done this work. They notice it. You see, when you come from your mind, body, and soul is together, you are energized, one complete human being. Being a complete human being is something very important. So, whether you're standing in front of a prime minister or an ordinary person, you are an entity, a fullness who's come to perceive, receive, and understand things. So, it didn't matter it was a prime minister.
How are you led to photographing in such crucial situations, sir? Again,
How do?
is being puzzled during such times of crisis and such times of very important decision making in circumstances. Was it you, like the paparazzis, a group of photographers in front of these leaders taking pictures? Sir? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering if it was an emergency that was to happen.
Anyway, when you're going through serious, sad situation like Bhopal tragedy or killings, communal riots, or being at Mother Teresa's homes of dying people, where Mother was nursing those people. I don't know. You see, there was a very famous poet, Kabir. And Kabir said that it means Das Kabir ne jaisi udi jiyon ki tu dhardini chunariya, that when you go through any experience, good, bad, painful, your soul, your spirit should not get cluttered and clouded by it. You have to go through it so cleanly, and if a photographer gets affected or gets nervous about a prime minister or gets painful about a situation, then you cannot reflect the truth as it is happening because your emotion will come in your way. So you have to rise above it, alert, responsible, quick, capturing the moment as it's coming. And it should not torture you in any way, and you should not be colored in any way, good or bad. You must have the ability, like a TV screen, to reflect what is truthfully. This is the discipline you learn over the years.
Thank you, sir.
ஆக்சுவலா தமிழ்ல கேட்கிறேன். நான் ஒரு கிளாஸ் உங்களோட பிக்சர்ஸ்லாம் வந்து ஒரு விளிம்பு நிலை மக்களை, ஒரு ஒரு ஒடுக்கப்பட்ட அந்த சமூகத்துல புறந்தள்ளப்பட்ட மக்களா, அவங்கள பத்தின பிக்சர்ஸ் தான் நிறைய இருக்கு. அது ஏன் அந்த மக்களை குறிப்பா நீங்க பிக்சர் பண்ணீங்க? ரெண்டாவது, உங்களை அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணா நீங்க போட்டோகிராஃப் பண்ணும் போல நீங்க ரொம்ப அஃபெக்ட் ஆன பாதிச்ச ஒரு போட்டோகிராஃப் பண்ண ஒரு போட்டோ அந்த சமூகத்தை பத்தி.
So basically, what he's asking is, most of your pictures are pictures of downtrodden people. Was there any reason behind it?
No, not most.
Well,
No,
Yeah.
I have done 3 books on Indira Gandhi. I have done 4 books on Mother Teresa. I have done book on His Holiness Dalai Lama. I have done a lot of work on Sadhguru. I am doing that, but don't forget your country, the masses, the ordinary people. If the ordinary people don't touch you, what the hell are you here for?
So his second question is, was there any photograph or any moment where you felt really, really almost like you were affected by it, almost like crying? You felt really bad for it.
The whatever emotion is there in front of you, you have a camera screen that guards you, okay? Do it with somebody. And that screen receives it directly so that I am able to capture that tragedy, that feeling through my camera. And if I get distorted and emotionally disturbed or become sentimental, that's not the purpose of a clean, honest observer of a situation. Social workers can, but I'm not a social worker.
My question is more related to attachments. We as humans basically get attached to a lot of things, especially to places where we are born, places where we grow up. I've been following you for quite some time, and I know that you were born in Jan in Pakistan. So have you ever had the urge to go back to Jan? And,
No, you see, when Vajpayee Sahab was the external affairs minister in 77, he was going to Pakistan to ease the situation between India and Pakistan. So those were the years when these politicians worked on human level, not on religious and political nonsense. So he invited some of us if we would like to go. So I went to Pakistan. And then the Pakistan's president was Zia-ul Haq, who was a tyrant. Now, in our case, he was a brilliant PR guy. I was the only photographer. So he invited us for dinner and he shook hands with us. And when he came and shook hands with me, he looked at my face and my size. He says, "You are from here, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, a little bit." He says, "Where were you born?" I said, "Yes, I was born in Pakistan." He said, "Where?" I said, "Jam." He said, "Would you like to visit?" I said, "I'd love to visit." So next day, the presidential car with the flag came to pick me up. So I have been to Jam. And in any case, I was 5 years old when partition took place. So I couldn't find my hometown, my home. I went into the streets looking for it, didn't find it.
but were you able to photograph?
Yes, yes, quite a bit. The people there are so loving, so caring. And once they get to know you are from India, oh boy, you've gone into a shop to buy some special clothes or whatever, they will not take money from you. Oh, you are our guest. And I went there in 77, and it was so wonderful. So last February, they invited me for the Lit Fest in Lahore. So I was wondering that after so many years, what will be the situation? How will these people look today? They were as wonderful, as loving about India and India. Gentlemen, you are from another country? Are you Indian? Yeah. I see. Because of your skin, I thought maybe you'll throw some light on the subject.
Well, I was going to ask you a question. My name is Sanjay Barnila. I grew up in Delhi and I've lived in Bangalore for the last 15 years. I also I make documentary. I make boring environment documentaries, but anyway, they get streamed around. And I also teach in an art design college in Bangalore called Srishti.
I see. My daughter Purvai Rai, she spent 3 years there
How wonderful.
and she was very happy being there.
Yes, I mean, this is my 14th year there. It's a great place. It used to be a great place. But same things are happening. You know, what lament that you were talking about happening to the country. Anyway, this is it. So I wanted to, in fact, I want to talk to you because just a few days ago I was telling my students about you, about the first photograph you took in your Punjab village. And while telling them, narrating, I forgot what the story was. So it will be nice.
It was a baby donkey.
Yes, I know it was a donkey.
Yeah.
And you know, so that's how I started. But then I forgot. And I think you chased the donkey all over the village, right? Anyway.
Yeah, because my brother gave me a small camera with a regular lens. So I saw a baby donkey looking so cute and strange. So I went closer to it to get a good picture. The baby donkey got scared and started running. The children of the village, they started laughing. So I started running behind the baby donkey so that children can have fun. And eventually I got the picture.
Hey, Raghu sir, thank you for coming to Madurai. I'm an entrepreneur. In this noisy world, How do you cut out the noise? How do you keep up the peace? You told about silence.
When the noise is there, you don't cut out. You begin to dance with it. Your body must acquire the same rhythm inside you. And then you begin to move. So the noise, as I was explaining earlier, listen, I love Indian classical music. For the last 50 years, I have done a book on great masters of Indian classical music. And all the top 12 musicians in the country. I was talking about Subbalakshmi ji. I have spent so much time with her. And I came to her place also here. So I have experienced that world also very clearly. I've done a book last 2 years back on Sadhguru. Mukti, nirvana is the ultimate thing. That my creativity has taken me to that nirvana, that mukti. I can take pictures and dance in the street without the music because I feel enriched, because I nurture my soul. How do you nurture your soul? To love others, to be kind to others, to be serving them once in a while. Thank you.
So thank you for coming to Mumbai. We had a lot of dream when you were coming 5 years. Like a marriage, we are dreaming how brave you are. The revel is about the depth of it, but you're having a witness. One question, we were using black and white films at the time. Now the images are captured in the digital format in black and white. What difference you find in that? Why in India black and white is getting brought up?
Basically, life is in color. And now, when you put your camera on a black and white mode, but the raw frame is in color, okay? Color, unlike a painter, an artist, if he is painting a sky green and with some red patches, nobody can question him. That sky is never green, and those red patches on green. But he's an artist, he has the freedom. You guys are bloody photographers, you don't have any freedom, mind and spirit. You have to have that freedom. Even now, I convert many of my pictures into black and white, depending on the color quality, because the colors must blend with the mood of the situation. If they don't, I revengefully convert them into black and white. But if an artist who's just completed his course, 4 years, whatever, from an art college, can do anything, why can't photographers do anything? They are so programmed and bogged down by the idea of images which have been floating around. Even if an artist copies another artist, at least his imperfection will have his style of imperfection. But photography, almost similar pictures you get to see anywhere and everywhere. And Instagram is a disease. If you guys are up to Instagram, God bless you. Shift your position in your mind, in your body. Please do not sit where you've been sitting forever. Change yourself, change your mind, change your position, look at the world differently. And above all, learn to be loving. If you are married, go and hug your wife all over again. I do it. My wife says, when will you grow up? When she was pregnant with the first child, and I was jumping around, playing, and she said, come on, now you please grow up. When will you grow up? I said, when my child comes, I'll grow up with her. She says, She's grown up, but you haven't. Because I love, I love, I love everybody. And I don't care what people think about my love. I was photographing in Munnar and I saw 12, 15 workers in dust and everything. And they were sitting and having biscuit and chai. Oh boy. I stood there for half an hour taking their pictures and I hugged them and shook hands with them. And it was such a warm, wonderful experience. They are my gods. They are the spirit of this country. Go back to your source, the love you might still have inside you. Wake up with that. Wake up. Go hug your mother, hug your father, your daughter, kiss her all over again, your wife, no matter how bad she has been to you guys, because you are bad guys. Chaliye, thank you so much. All right.
So we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I know.
Creative business is such that there is no beginning, there is no end.
So, but we're going. All good things are gonna, come to a pause. So we are gonna pause here, and thank you so much for everyone to come here and spend your evening here. And before I close, I want to thank Rishwan and Arsh for arranging all this. Guys,
Suni.
you have to all thank them for giving the space, giving this, taking all the steps to make this a wonderful event. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation. And it's going to be, lasting with me for a long time.